Well, for weeks now, we've been talking about a rise in violent crimes along Toronto's transit system. And while that prompted a quick response from the TTC and police with added security and patrols, the number of incidents is up dramatically from pre-pandemic reporting. Joining us now live for a broader look at the numbers and what this means for the TTC going forward, we're joined by spokesperson Stuart Green. Thanks for joining us this afternoon, Stuart. So what is the reaction, either of yours or of the TTC's response to the numbers in this report?
Well, like everyone, Nick, we're concerned by these. One of the reasons we collect this data is to understand what's happening on our system for both our customers and our employees. So when we see these numbers going up, it's of course of concern, but it's also why we responded the way we have in that balanced way, having additional police resources, but also having additional social service resources, which are incredibly important for helping people that are in crisis and using transit as a shelter system. So, it's the numbers are of course of concern. But we feel that our balanced approach is how we're going to address that.
And so when it comes to the collection, Stuart, I'm just trying to be clear, does the TTC get these reports like on a monthly basis, weekly basis? How frequently are you seeing these statistics?
Yeah, so we do these reports every month. Our CEO report, as part of our public reporting, we include these numbers. So what you're seeing in some other media outlets is sort of people that have added those up over the months, and that's where those numbers are coming from. But we're very transparent about this, and we report these numbers every month. As I say, it's important because it allows us to identify the challenges that we're facing and providing the response.
And like you said, obviously, violence, passenger concern, safety, that's obviously a top priority for the TTC. When was it that the TTC noticed this sort of uptick? I mean, the numbers have jumped pretty significantly over the last, 1 year and then a couple years before that. When did those numbers sort of get noticed, even with the ridership sort of in a pandemic low?
Yeah, so I mean, what we started to see was during the pandemic, our ridership was down, but the rate of incidents was still fairly high, which signaled to us that there were a number of incidents that were occurring, but that even though the ridership was down, so it really forced us to sort of reevaluate how we manage safety and security on the TTC sort of throughout the pandemic. But a lot of things have changed, and I should point out too a couple of things. We move hundreds of millions of trips every year without incident. We don't take that for granted by any means, and clearly some of these high-profile incidents are of concern our customers and our employees, and to us as well as the TTC as an organization. So that's why, as I say, our balanced approach to dealing with this is a combination of safety and security as well as the social service supports. And we hope to see, we've got our board meeting next Tuesday, so we're hoping that we'll have some more up-to-date and more current numbers, maybe the month of January. We're still working to get through that, and we'll see what that shows as well. But I will say the other thing too is that anecdotally, we're hearing from our customers and our employees that the steps that we've taken are making them feel safer. We want people to feel safe and comfortable. We want them to be safe and comfortable as well on the TTC. And this is how we get there: is continuing to adjust and respond in ways that are balanced.
Yeah, and of course you've seen the polling that's done about people's feeling of security, safety, whatever on the TTC recently, et cetera. And there's a feeling by some that there took a lot of either media scrutiny or sort of public outcry to kind of get to these additional security measures in place. What did it take, or why did it take that to get to this increased level where people are now, as you've just stated, feeling a little more secure riding the TTC?
Well, as I say, we don't just sort of respond to things in a vacuum. We look at trends, and that's why it's so important that we have these numbers available to us. We started to identify these trends, and we started to respond previously. Before the higher profile incidents in January, for example, and before the police made their announcement, we were already taking steps to improve safety and security. We had more of our staff in stations. We had collectors coming out from the collector booths, a more visible presence. We were doing things like upgrading our cameras, making sure that we had more of them and higher quality, so that in the event something did happen, we were able to assist police and get them good video. And by the way, police have made a number of very good arrests in the last little while since they've been in the system, both people they were looking for and people that we, were known to have been causing trouble in the TTC. So, these methods are always a work in progress, and we're always learning. And we've certainly heard from people who are, might have concerns about the increased presence of police. Our response to that is to be more balanced in terms of social service. We're a transit agency, we're not a social service agency, but we're getting help from everybody, and the city has really pulled together The other thing I would say too is this is not just a TTC challenge. This is a challenge that's being faced in other cold weather environments, places like Philadelphia, New York, Chicago. They're all experiencing the same thing. More people using transit as a shelter in the colder months. So it's a problem across North America in terms of some of the challenges that we're facing.
Yeah, I wanted to get to that, but you answered that question, and we are out of time. But TTC spokesperson Stuart Green, thanks for flagging that, and thanks for joining us this afternoon.
Thanks, Nick. Cheers.